back, I did a video on an ambitious first-person shooter called Black. It had its issues, but overall it was a game that delivered exactly what it promised. A fun, loud, visceral action game with levels of destruction hardly seen on consoles at the time. A few years later, that same team made a lesser-known follow-up called Bodycount. At E3 2010, the game's director Stuart Black told GameSpot exactly what Bodycount was meant to be.
It's all about having outrageous fun with the gun, right? We want to make you have a really good time shooting things. Consequence-free shooting is what we want to have. It's a real strong sense of escapism.
So, just like Black, it was to be an eccentric shooter centered around guns and destructibility. But this time, the destructibility was supposed to be more than just eye candy. It was supposed to change the game. Also, unlike most of its competitors, the game's story was to take a back seat. No deep characters, no robust cutscenes, and no real unique qualities. Bodycount would be a lean, mean, no-frills experience that, just like Black before it, delivered exactly what it promised. So, did it? The first thing you may notice is just how drab the game looks. Visually, it's just not that appealing, and it doesn't really ever change. With stages that take you to places like Africa, Asia, and inside a top-secret government facility, and a lineup of enemies that really doesn't provide much in the way of variety, it's really easy to see why this game didn't catch on from just a visual standpoint. In fact, I'd argue that 2006's Black holds up much better when rendered at a similar resolution. Another thing you'll notice right away is the sound isn't nearly aggressive as the team's previous game. Now that's not to say it doesn't get the job done, but Black had thunderous weaponry that rattled the room when you turned it up loud enough. To this day, it remains a standout. Bodycount sound effects are puny by comparison. The music doesn't do much to help things either. Of course, not all games can have Michael Giacchino work on their soundtrack, but hey. Then there are the levels themselves. Billed as a haven of destructibility and strategic gameplay, instead you'll notice they're really kind of straightforward and restricted. Basically, you'll have a somewhat open area to roam around in for a bit, but enemies usually end up coming from one direction or the other, so you're able to hunker down and not have to worry about being flanked. In addition to your weapons, you have powers you can use, such as temporary invulnerability and more powerful ammo, but the meter runs out so quickly, you'll likely forget to even use them, instead opting to simply finish firefights by hiding behind cover and abusing the game's auto-aim. And sure, some walls break apart and cover gets blown away, but the game really becomes nothing more than a stop-and-pop shooter after a short while, essentially making that stuff meaningless. The game's also plagued with other strange design decisions, like having to wait until you see these kiosks in order to change guns, of which you can only carry 2 at a time. Also strange is it's not up to you to upgrade the powers you unlock. Rather, the game does it for you as you progress through the campaign. Really strange, and again, it makes it easy to forget those powers are even there. The game also included multiplayer, but I obviously wasn't able to try that since it's impossible to find a game these days. At the end of the day, I'd say Bodycount ultimately fails to deliver on its ambitious goals. The guns themselves are satisfying to shoot, and the game does have some redeemable qualities, but overall it's a pretty disappointing experience on its own, but even more so as a follow-up to Black. Too bad the team will never get a shot at making a third game. One can only imagine what a proper follow-up to Black might have looked like with today's technology. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to see more in the coming weeks. The goal is to beat my backlog 1 week at a time. You can actually watch me stream my playthroughs over on Twitch 3 nights a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Just go to twitch.tv/itsDonAllen or click the link in the description below. And if you'd like to chat with me about anything you've seen here or elsewhere on my channel, tweet to me, @itsDonAllen on Twitter, or leave a comment below. Until next time.